There we go. We're doing something completely new that you've never seen before, but you kind of have. So it's totally brand new and Algebra 2-ish, and it's a throwback to 4th grade. So if you liked 4th grade, yay, we're back to 4th grade. And honest to God, if you can do 4th grade math, you can do this stuff. But it's one of those things that, last time I stopped after that, I'm just going to sing y'all to the library because I just don't want to mess up my sleep. Is that cool? Okay. So what someone said in my last class is they said, yeah, this stuff is easy if you're here. If you're trying to watch this and learn it at home, yeah, good luck. So what we're doing is a thing called polynomial long division. We have added polynomials, we've subtracted them, we did that crazy multiplication and the crazy claw, and now we're dividing them. And we're going to divide them using the same method that we did in 4th grade, long division. So before we jump into it, we're going to take a quick moment and remember, we're going to look back fondly at the love of long division in 4th grade, right? And when I do it, you're going to be like, oh, I did kind of like that. It wasn't terrible. So we would take a number, we would say it's something like 87 divided by 5, right? And when you were, yes. There's one up here. Yeah, the printer's weird right now, so you can come grab it. So here's what we would do when we were in 4th grade. We got to do 2 things that we liked. One is we used the little box thing, and the second thing is we used a remainder, but I'm going to show you this. So this is what we did. We would go like this. We'd say 5 goes into 87. Honest to God, we're doing almost this exact same thing. And then this is what we would say. We would say, how many times does 5 go into 8? That's what we would do. And we would say, oh, 5 goes into 8 one time. And we would say, 1 times 5 is 5. And then what would we do next? Do you remember? We would subtract. We would subtract. And really, if you think about it, that's a lot of steps for a 4th grader. You had to know how to multiply. You had to know how to add and subtract. I mean, there was a lot of steps involved with this. And then we would drag this bad boy down, and then we would say, okay, how many times did 5 go into 37? And we would say it would go in 7 times, and we'd go 7 times 5 is, 7 times 5 is 35, and we would subtract, and we'd get 2, and then we got to do our favorite thing in the world. We would do this. We would say, we'd have, if your teacher was mean, she'd make you do it as a fraction, but if your teacher was nice, she'd let you do this. Remainder 2. Remember that? You just said, oh, remainder 2. You didn't even have to do decimals in 4th grade. It was awesome. 4th grade was awesome. That's when life was good. Honest to God, if you can do that, you can do today's. And if you want to get fancy with today's, you could do the remainder like this, or you could do the thing that your 4th grade teacher for the smart kids, she'd go, okay, smart kids, and you'd feel bad about yourself because she didn't say it to you, and they'd go, oh, 2 over 5, right? They do it that way, right? So, honest to God, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to say, how many times does it go in? We're going to subtract. We're going to bring stuff down. It is exactly the same. So I need you to get in your head that you already know how to do this. So when you look at it and it trips you up a little bit, like, what? You're going to be like, wait. It's just 4th grade. Are you guys ready? Because we got this. We got this. So here we go. The only thing that's different is we've got some crazy letters. But we can do this. So the first thing is we're going to put it in the box, just like we did on the other one. So we're going to go ahead and say x plus 8. And we're going to put this other stuff in the box. X squared plus 3x minus 43. Have I lost anybody? Right? It's always the second guy that goes in the box. Now I'm going to do a couple things. You don't have to do this. But again, you know what I want to do is make certain that everyone understands what's going on. I'm going to throw a couple ones here. Again, you don't have to do that. I just like doing it. Okay, so a really quick thing that we did is when we were doing this, when we said 5 went into 87, what we tried to do is think what time, how many times does 5 go into 87, right? So the way that I want you to think about it is this. I need to turn this guy into this guy. I want them to be the exact same thing. Well, this guy is just 1x to the 1, and this is 1x to the second. What is this guy missing to look just like this guy. What's the only thing he's missing? He's missing that little squared. In other words, he's missing an x. This guy has two x's, x squared. This guy has one. So what we're going to do is we're going to write, and we're going to shift over one like we did when we were in fourth grade. We're going to say, okay, we're going to say 1 goes into 1. We're going to put a 1 right there, and we're going to say he's missing an x. So we're going to go like that. Thinking, what? Now watch what happens. Just like when we did this, we said 5 went in there one time. The next step is we'd say 1 times 5, and we would write it underneath. We're going to do that exact same thing. We're going to take this 1x, and we're going to distribute it. It's going to go right here. So 1 times 1 is 1. X times x is x squared. Look, they look identical. That's what we want. And we're going to send him to this guy. This guy's just going to follow along the whole problem. So we're going to get plus 1 times 8 is 8, and it's just going to be an x. Did I lose anyone with that kind of crazy thing that I just did on the distribution? Okay. When I got to this point, what did I do right here in fourth grade? What was my next step? I subtracted. I put a minus there. It had been a plus. I put a minus, and I subtracted. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to subtract this stuff. But remember, it's 2 parts. So we're not going to just subtract this guy. We're also going to subtract this guy, right? We're going to do both. And watch what happens when I do it. I draw my line. These guys disappear. I want that to happen. I want that to happen every step of the way. And this is going to be 3, take away 8 is negative 5x. Is that cool? Did I lose anybody? Back to over here. What did I do with that 7? What was the next thing? I dropped it down, right? I dropped it down. So guess what I'm going to do here? I'm going to drop down this negative 43. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah? So let me erase this because it's kind of messy. I don't want it to be super messy. So now I am going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to say, just like I said, 5 went into 37, I'm going to say, how can I make 1x look just like negative 5x? He's got the x. What is he missing to look identical to this guy? The negative 5. So I'm going to multiply him by negative 5. Does that make sense? Because I want them to look identical. So now I'm going to go here to here. 1 times negative 5 is negative 5x. And negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. Now this is the part we want to be careful. We're going to now subtract. And remember what subtract means. It means do the opposite. And remember, when we had 2 things, we change. We've done this a million times. I don't just change this guy. I change both of them. So this is now going to become plus plus. These guys go away. We want that to happen every single time. And I'm going to get negative 43 plus 40 is negative 3. Do I have anyone else to bring down? No, I'm done. And I get to embrace my inner fourth grader and write remainder negative 3. And I have just divided. The answer is 1x minus 5, remainder negative 3. And if you are one of the smart kids, if you want to write it as 1x minus 5 with negative 3 over x plus 8, oh, well, aren't you the smartest kid in the world? You can do that as well, right? It is literally what you did in fourth grade, just a little bit trickier. Talk to me a little bit. You got it? John, you got it? Okay, you guys ready to try one together? You guys, are you good? It's weird, it's crazy, but once you get the hang of it, it's freakishly fulfilling. So here we go. Okay. So you can write it with a divide sign. We knew that in fourth grade. Or you can write it with a little fraction bar. We knew that in fourth grade. The stuff underneath goes outside the box. The stuff inside goes inside the box. You guys ready? And if you want to do this on your whiteboard because you want to write big, you are also welcome to do that as well. These get a little like long. X minus 5 is on the outside. And this stuff, x to the third plus, oh, sorry, that's a mistake. That was me. That's supposed to be a squared. Put that on your paper. That was me. I did that. I've done that all period long. I'm going to see if I can remember that for like third period. 3x squared. Sorry, kids at home. Sorry, my COVID friends or RSV friends or whatever the hell is going on. Okay. A couple things you might want to do. You don't have to, but if you like it, you can go ahead and throw a few ones on here if that makes your life a little easier. You can do that. You don't have to. And if you even want to throw a little one right there, it's up to you. Okay, step 1. How do I make this guy? I only worry about him. That's all I worry about. Yes, that goofy negative 5 is just going to come along for the ride. How do I make him look just like him? Well, he's got the 1, but he's missing some x's. So what am I going to put up here? I'm going to put a 1 and something else. X squared. Beautiful, beautiful. Because he needs to have 3 of them, right? And I always shift over 1 just so it'll show up nicely. So here we go. That guy goes here. 1x squared. I'm sorry, 1x to the third minus 5x squared. Deep breath. We okay? Nope. Now, subtract. So remember, that means change both of these guys. Change them both. So that becomes a minus, and that becomes a plus. Are we okay with that? So here we go. Go straight down. Those guys cross out. Yay! If they don't cross out, you've made a mistake. That's our goal every time. So far, so good? Are you okay? Okay. How do I make 1x look like 8x squared? He's missing a couple of things. He's missing the 8, and he's missing an x. An x squared needs to be x squared. So we need to add 8x. Let me clean this up a little bit so it's not so messy. Here we go. Oops, that 5 kind of disappeared. Sorry about you, 5. Okay, here I go. 8 goes here. 8x squared. 8 goes here. Negative 40x. We okay? Change, change. That's what subtract is. Change, change. You do it right now. Change, change. Here we go. Let's do it. Change, change. You should get negative 7x, and we're bringing down this last guy, that 30. Finally, we're almost done. How do I make 1x look like negative 7x? What is he missing? A negative 7, you are on fire. We're going to put the negative 7 here. We're going to distribute him. So what we're going to get is negative 7x plus 35. Remember, we're going to, on our last step, go change, change. So here's what happens. These go away, and our final remainder is negative 5. Here's how they show up on the SAT or ACT. It's so clever. They show this problem, and they simply say, what's the remainder? It's such a great question. It's such a great multiple choice question, because you don't have to have all this other stuff. You just say, what's the remainder? Is it 3? Is it 8? Is it negative 5? And our remainder is negative 5. Are we okay? You guys ready to try one on your own? I think you are. I think you got this. Here you go. Big deep breath. Try it. Only going to do 2 more, and then we're going to stop. I'll get you started if you're stumped. 5r minus 6 goes in the outside of my box. 50r squared minus 10r plus 54 goes on the inside. I love this problem. This is one of my favorites. You will love your remainder on this one. Best remainder in the world.
That's 105.
Oh, is that 105? I knew that. I was testing it. Phew. So glad that you passed. 105. I'm so tempted to do it. I just have to stand here. Don't let me try. When you think you're done, can you share your remainder with your neighbor and see if your neighbor agrees with what you got? See if you got a remainder that they got? So I'm starting off with 10R, and I am going to change the middle, change the back. There we go. These go away. I got negative 45, is that right? R plus 54. I'm going to put in a negative 9 here. Negative 9 times 5 is negative 45, R, and then a plus 54. I do change. Hey, look at that. 0. The remainder is 0. That means it's called a factor. It went in perfect. Our answer is just 10r minus 9. No remainder. We are good to go. Everything is awesome with this one. I think I was going to do something else, but I think I am going to, let me think. Let me see what I had next. I wanted you to try one more, but I think you got it. And I'm going to save this one till tomorrow. I think that's plenty for today. It's Monday. It's December. It's tough. Look, I'm actually going to turn this off on time and not have it run for like 45 minutes. Bye, COVID, RSV, flu kids, people with broken legs. Goodbye.